Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good day. I have to wear special socks for today. I find that amusing. I guess I don't have to wear special socks, but yeah, baby girl, what's the matter? Oh yeah, he said it all. Hey, Kayla, thank you. Welcome, 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 and everyone. Remember, we are live on TikTok and on YouTube, um, depending on your preference. Let me get over to YouTube and just confirm that that is true. There we are. For those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman, thanks to this lovely TikTok community here. And this is our CAYA classroom space. So hey Natalie, how you doing? So for the month, for the entire year of 2025, we are going to go through all the different layers of the energy body. We started in January with the aura, the auric field around the body. Then in February, we went inside the body with the energy channels, the elements in the body, the nadis, and the koshas, the sheaths of self. It is now March. And in March, we are working with the minor chakras, not just the lower chakras. I keep trying to say the lower chakras, but the lower chakras are root and sacral chakra. These are minor chakras in the lower half of the body. At the end of the year, once we move through all the other chakras, we will talk about the minor chakras that are in the upper part of the body, the shoulders, down here in the armpits, the hands as well, face chakras. We will talk about those later on in the year. So each month we are going through a different layer. This month we are talking about the minor chakras in the lower half of the body. So last week we talked about the navel chakra as well as the vritti chakras, then our Janu Marma and the knee chakra. Today we're going to talk about the feet chakras, where the chakras are in the feet, how to work with them. If you're familiar with reflexology, this is probably going to feel like a review, but that's okay. A lot of times we want to review these things anyway because that's how we inform ourselves. Remember that if you are staying around for different classes, for multiple classes, make sure you have a journal with you so you can keep track. Hey, thank you, friend. So you can keep track of what you learn in these classes as well as the tools that you acquire through these practices. The point of that is so that at the end of the year, after we go through all the layers of the energy body and all the layers of the self, that you will have informed yourself about your energy body. There's a million books you can go out in the world and get that will tell you about the general energy system, that will tell you about the chakras, that will even tell you about your minor energy channels or reflexology or these different parts and pieces, right? You can go Google these pieces. But in here, you are your own guru, and we are looking for our captain because many of us have lost the captain. So these tools are meant to lead us back home to self. These tools are meant to help balance us, align us with our path of self-actualization. I could create a text that just gives you all the information that I've discovered over all these years, but in reality, that's run-of-the-mill. That's one size fits all. And I encourage you in this space to learn about what your body needs, what works with your body, and what supports you best, right? Okay. With that said, as usual, we briefly review the energy system. I will wait just a few more minutes until we dive too deep into it, kind of slowly shift from intro so that other folks can have a chance to come on in. Take a moment and share with your friends. I do appreciate sharing the live, interacting with the live, gifts, hearts, all the things. I appreciate you guys, your engagement as well as your presence. So, most of us are familiar with the 7 chakras. YouTube, can you see this board okay? I worry about the glare from the sun. I want to make sure that YouTube, I know you guys can TikTok can see this fine. So, most of us are familiar with the 7 chakras. This is the basics, right? This is the foundation for the rest of the energy body. And most of us know that we have a front chakra, but in reality, we also have a back to each of the chakras. So we'll get into those and we'll briefly talk about the development of the chakras. So, our root chakra, which resonates at the color red, that means that at the frequency of the energy coming through the root chakra is the same as the frequency of the color red. Yes, if we practice and develop the skill, we can actually see our own aura and the colors that come from our energy body because they actually emit a light. And so this, when we talk about the colors of the chakras, we're not just talking about, oh, this is arbitrarily assigned to these different things. These are actually matching frequencies. Okay. Just like when you look at the rainbow, right? That's light split into all of its parts. We are consciousness expressing all of our parts. So, root chakra represent, or the root chakra resonates at the color red, is located at our pelvic floor. So if you are seated right now, you're sitting on your root chakra. This develops in the first 6 months of life. And when I say develops, I should actually probably say settles into a pattern during the first 6 months of life. Our first 6 months of life influences how our root chakra will develop later on. Hey Vada, how are you? Thank you guys for sharing the live. Thank you guys for all the love. Then we have our sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is located, if you take your hand and stick out your thumb and your pinky, thank you friends, stick your thumb in your belly button and put your pinky on the top of your pubic bone. That little area right there is your sacral chakra. It's our muffin top, right? It's our squishy bits. This chakra resonates at the color of orange. And develops between, again, these are not exact, like once you turn 6 months, suddenly move to the next chakra, right? These things develop as we grow and they fluctuate depending on our experience and depending on our own energy signature. So, nice. Okay, so we have the chakra, which starts developing about 6 months up until the age of about 2 years. Then we have our solar plexus. Our solar plexus is located, you can do the same thing with your thumb and your pinky. This time stick your pinky in your belly button and place your thumb at the base of your sternum. That whole belly, upper belly part, this is your solar plexus. This resonates at the frequency of yellow, at the color yellow, and develops between the ages of 2 and 4. This is my favorite example of the way that these chakras express themselves, right? The Manipura, right? the root chakra is concerned with safety, right? And the challenge is, am I safe or should I be fearful? Or do I have a reason to be fearful? This will influence the way that other energies in our body will settle or develop based on those earliest messages. Because obviously, if we are born into a world that sends us the message that we are safe in our body, then our energy can be more expressive, more grounded, more centered, that kind of stuff. If we are in a dangerous place or our body basically just responds to our environment as if it is dangerous, that's going to influence the way that our energy can be expressed. If we're not safe in our body, our energy has to shift to protect us. And that's how we get energy patterns, emotional patterns, ego characters, and other things like that. So then our solar plexus is the ages of 2 to 4. The root chakra is about fear or safety. The sacral chakra is about comfort, nourishment, or shame, guilt, and disconnection. Our sacral chakra asks, if I'm alive, if I exist, is it okay for me to seek pleasure, comfort? Will my body be nourished? Will my heart be nourished? Right? This is our first sense of connection. The root is our first sense of connection to the earth itself. We're grounded in our body. Am I safe to be alive? And am I safe to have a body in this lifetime? The sacral then says, am I safe to connect to the people around me? And can I trust them to care for me? Natalie, you ask, what would it look like in each of these chakras being healthy versus unhealthy? Really fantastic question. Okay, so let me do this. Let me go through all the chakras and we'll talk about the stages they develop in and what the kind of challenge is for each one, and then we can go through and talk about what they each look like. So thank you for asking. So then our solar plexus is the, can I interact with the world? Can I affect the world? Vada, me too. I almost didn't either, and I have to show my feet in this one. I have to lift my feet up in this one too. And I was like, what am I doing wearing a dress? I'm glad we're on the same page. So, hey Brian, how are you? What is happening? I don't know. Venus retrograde probably, and Mercury, that all stuff. Okay, so our solar plexus asks, can I be industrious? Can I move things? Can I make things? Can I use my voice? Can I demand that the world give me what I want, or that the world stays out of my corner, right? And what do we see in the ages of 2 and 4? This is when our children are really first interacting and expressing their ego, right? Here in the West, we call it the terrible twos, because this is the first time we see them showing up as, I am loudly here, proudly here, and there ain't nobody who can do nothing about it, right? They are so emboldened. I like to say a lot that this is our first real expression of seeing source in the material world. But in our cultures, we often start to redirect that energy, and we're like, no, you can't be loud in these spaces. You can't be pushy in this way. You can or can't set these boundaries or exert control in different situations. And this is when gendering starts to happen as well, right? In these, way early too, but gendering starts to make a real impact in our culturally, in our solar plexus, because this is the first time we start to express the messages that we've already received in our earliest years, earliest months, even of life, right? So then we move up to the heart chakra. The heart chakra develops between the ages of 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. I guess, well, actually, up to 6 or so. Because about 7, 8, 9, that's when the throat chakra develops. So between 4 and 6, we have our heart chakra developing. Now, this is another point of connection. But this is our space for compassion. This is our space for understanding our relationships, how other people feel, having their own feelings, and being able to express empathy or compassion, as well as being able to receive empathy or compassion. Not in the space that we do as an infant, right? As an infant, I'm a squishy little helpless thing, and people need to take care of me for my survival, right? And that'll send a certain message to my energy body. As I get up here in my heart, it's, do people choose to be kind to me or helpful, right? Or include me? This is where our children, we start to understand relationships as from not such an ego place. The ego place down here, we understand that I am at the center of every single relationship. And we don't even have really the capacity to understand that our siblings have their own relationships, or our friends or our parents have their own relationships outside of us. We're still super egocentric when we're in these lower chakras. When we get up here to the heart, we start to understand, oh wait, Mom and Dad have their own relationship outside of the way that they interact with me, right? This is as our consciousness we become more and more aware. Thank you guys for the follows. Did I miss a question? But I will be skating to church on Easter in dresses. Okay. Let me know if I missed your question at any point. Please feel free to repeat it again, because sometimes the comments will be going through and I'll miss it, right? And I get off on a tangent. So, okay, awesome. Just feel free to repeat them. Don't worry about, yeah. All right, so we're here in the heart. We're talking about the ages of 4 to 6-ish, where we start to develop this sense of choosing and understanding that there's more outside of us, that we are absolutely not the center of the universe. Okay. Now we move up into our throat chakra. So the heart is the center for, am I accepted, right? Can I be seen in all of my other expressions and still be loved? This is that whole choice part. Unpopular opinion, can you ask about 22? Only in the sense that it relates to the chakras. Okay. So as we move into our throat chakra, it's another form of expression. But this area develops between the ages of 7, 8, 9, 10 or so. And this is the place where we start to really deal with honesty, with our truth and other people's truth, right? Remember, every chakra has an external expression and a reception. So every chakra, a balanced chakra, would have energy flowing out and energy flowing in. With the throat chakra, that's my ability to express my truth and speak what I really feel or what my emotions are, right? All of these things bubble up and can be expressed either through the solar plexus or through the heart or through the throat in these different ways. And the ways that they're expressed as we grow are going to be influenced by these early experiences. So again, let's go back down to the, sorry, I keep jumping around. When we go back down to the root, if I've got early experiences that told me I'm not safe in my body, then as I move the energy up higher, I may choose to disassociate from my body. I may choose to, I may not enjoy pleasurable things in my life because it means connecting to my body. I may be disconnected from my emotions and instead move that energy up into my solar plexus and become controlling or aggressive in my behaviors. And then that may influence my speech as well. And I may later grow to be somebody who is dishonest or aggressive in these energies here. So when we see an imbalance in a higher chakra, it may be due to imbalances in these lower chakras, or it may be actually rooted in that chakra as well, which is why I encourage everybody, either get yourself a journal and start tracking your energy patterns, or if you don't know how to do that and want a framework for it, go to my patreon.com/move with change shop. And there is a $5 digital download. It's called the Inner Light Map. And it has 4 PDF pages for you to keep track of practices, keep track of your energy body on a daily basis. It's only 4 pages, and you can print them out as many times as you need to, or fill them out on a digital thing. I did that instead of building a big, expensive book that I had to sell to everybody, right? So go to the Patreon shop, link in bio, and go grab that if you want to track your own energy system. Unpopular opinion. What if my heart feels heavy? So that speaks to just an imbalance in your heart chakra. And like, I could give a standard answer for a heavy heart is likely blocked from reception of energy, or it may be spewing extra energy out in a negative way, in a shadow self. But what it means for you requires your personal exploration in some of these other chakras as well. And I can give practices that will soothe the heart or soothe particular chakras, regardless of the other things that are happening in your system, and keep an eye for it. Yeah. Okay. So the throat, truth. This is also where creativity comes from. My ability to creatively express myself, my ability to sing and to dance and to be silly and be playful, right? My ability to be playful with my expression, my voice, is a matter of comfort and safety as well. Especially, I'm sure all of us have experienced not feeling safe and suddenly we get choked up, or we struggle to say what we're trying to say, or when we're feeling nervous, or we're feeling somebody's being too aggressive or pushy, we might struggle to speak, right? We notice that in this chakra a lot, because it's a very expressive, verbal, it's something that we are really aware of our expression here. And we may notice those things here. My belly gets upset with anxiety, right? Or my digestion stalls or slows when I'm feeling unsafe, these other things. Communication abilities totally shut down. And there are ways to help with that. And there are mudras and mantras and all kinds of things. Okay, so then we move up into the brow chakra. The development of the brow, or the brow chakra. The brow chakra and the crown chakra will begin settling into a pattern even in your earliest months. But they do not, quote, finalize, right? Imagine again that during these sections, each area of your energy system is being informed by your environment, right? It's being informed by how to be and how to express. This is how we develop our ego characters. This is how our energy patterns develop. This is how my triggers develop. This is how my emotional awareness or intelligence or not will end up settling into my system. Thank you, friend. Okay. So the big work of the brow chakra happens in our teen years. This is our ability to go past our personal expression and our personal connections and our egocentric experiences of life and start to connect to the collective. This aligns the development of the chakras, also align with child development stages in terms of Erik Erikson, Piaget, and the like. We'll all give you similar age brackets for social emotional development, physical development, cognitive development. They all fall in line in the same rhythm. We obviously have the opportunity to continue to work on these things, but the bulk of the work happens unconsciously. Your brain, for example, is in the theta brainwaves. Theta is the brainwave when you are asleep and dreaming. When you're in REM sleep and your eyes are darting back and forth and you're in la la land out there, that's theta brainwaves. Your brain does not develop out of theta brainwaves until about the age of 8. Your children, children are in the dream time, not completely out of the dream time until the age of 8. This is all happening unconsciously. So when we think of our emotions as out to get us, or our energy patterns or our ego as bad, right? And thwarting us, or being against us at all, our enemy at all. I don't know how do I want to say that. It's totally false. The opposite is true. The opposite is true. Because while you were cognitively unconscious, while your consciousness was not completely solidified in this lifetime, while your brain was still developing, while your body was still developing, your energy was figuring out how best to protect you. Not with a judgment of what is mature or not, what is right or wrong, what is good or bad, simply by the interaction in your environment and your personal energy signature. Our personal energy signature, what is that? How do we figure that out? Thank you, friend. Your astrology chart, numerology, human design, any of these lenses that we can look, what kind of what ingredients created me during that time in this place where I was born. What that gives you is your energy signature. And that will pose to you the challenges and the skill sets, right? Or the things that are easy for you in this lifetime, and the things that are going to be more challenging. That's why two kids in the same household, born relatively close together, can still have very different experiences. When the environment is relatively the same for both of them, how we react to the environment is very unique as the shape of our iris, as the fingerprints on your hands, right? These are all unique to you. So as your chakras develop, it will develop unique to you based on the interaction between nature and nurture. Is that what it means when people refer to your essence? It can. We can also refer to it, again, as in child development, we talk about nature versus nurture. For a long time, the theorists were out. The jury was out on whether or not we were a blank slate or not. Some time ago, it was a pretty accepted thing that children were just born completely blank. But in child development, we also refer to it as temperament. Children will have different temperament based on, you can tell in the belly. You can tell by the way that when they come out, when the way that they move around, how alert or how not, right? These are our energy signatures. We come in with a kind of structure. Literally, your entire being is built of energy, of a vibration. You are a unique frequency. That's why I like to talk about the energy system as our instrument. Right? This vessel is my instrument, and I come in with a particular song, a particular color, a particular energy pattern that is meant to be part of the whole rainbow, right? I like to think about it like we all fall somewhere on this chart of color. Some of us resonate down right here at the red, right? And we know when we meet other people that resonate with red. Those are our tribe. Those are our family. Those are the people who feel like our doppelgangers, right? Like I swear we're related. We're cut from the same cloth. And then we will run into those people who are completely at the other end of the spectrum. And we will say, well, we don't get along at all. We just don't vibe. We don't jive with each other. There's something about them that I really don't resonate with. We have the language to talk about it. Even though you'll hear somebody say, chakras are woo woo, your energy's nonsense, we literally have English terms that we use to talk about these things, which I really love the way that we, what's it called? Confess, admit things unintentionally. Okay. So, what does it look like to have balance or imbalance? Healthy versus unhealthy. I want to just say balance versus imbalance because I want to shy away from judgment and healthy versus unhealthy or broken, right? These kinds of things are judgmental in the intention behind the words. I'm trying to think of an example for that. A manifestation of my root chakra. Let's say, for me, I'll use a personal example. It's my favorite kind. I grew up, my first 6 months of life were tumultuous and ultimately pretty terrifying. And it gave me a pretty deep seated fear of just being alive. It's something that I've carried with me all of my life. It's something that I've struggled with. It's something that I've wrestled with, and it's something that I'm learning to make friends with. But ultimately, it's something that has influenced the energy patterns of every single one of my other chakras. Let me give you the example. Those first 6 months of life were told my energy body that I was not safe in my body. So the next thing I did was pull my energy up to my sacral, which most of us do. Sacral says, can the universe feed me? Will the universe take care of me? This is the way we end up. We move up into the sacral. And in this place, I might, as an infant, cry more. I may squirm around more. I may nurse extra long. I may eat more. I may sleep more. I may find other ways to seek nourishment. I may be one of those infants who like sensory things, right? And I seek sensory nourishment. If my root chakra says, it's not safe to be in your body, then you got to pull that energy up to somewhere they're safe. So the sacral then says, am I safe here? If I can find a sense of pleasure that makes me feel safe again, then my energy can start to balance out down here. For me personally, what this did was when I sought that comfort, as many of us as infants were, I was put on a schedule for eating, for sleeping, that was arbitrary to my body's actual needs, right? As most of us are here in the West. So then again, no, my needs are not going to be met when I need them to be met. I'm going to be put on a schedule and those are going to be denied. Thank you, friend. So then we're going to move up to the solar plexus. The solar plexus, you may notice children a little even earlier getting more aggressive or more physical or moving more. You know what that was for me? I didn't crawl. I went from like scooting myself around on the floor to as soon as I realized I could stand, I ran. That's a perfect example of the solar plexus trying to literally just reach for whatever kind of safety, security, pleasure, experience that it can. And I found deep pleasure in running, in moving really, really fast. This further influenced the way that I moved through life, the way that I interacted in my relationships, right? And I'm getting to a place, this might sound like, oh no, out of balance, out of balance, out of balance. And yes, to a degree, we could say that these are out of balance because they're not balanced in their expression. Despite my learning to run and move through life like this, I was still thwarted very often because as a young girl, I'm not allowed to be too loud. I'm not allowed to be too aggressive or chaotic. I'm not allowed to laugh. I'm not allowed to cry. I'm not allowed to, play certain games, right? So then what did I find as a young girl in the West here? That when I played with dolls or helped my mother in the house or spoke softly and sang sweet songs for people, this was a heart chakra connection. The first experience for me of being safe was in my compassion for others. The first place I received validation was up here. So really early, as a 2-3 year old, I was doing those things of overly adulting. I was taking care of my younger sister. I was helping my mom all the time and derived pleasure, true pleasure, in my experience from doing those things. We could say, as my mother did say once, that I am extremely codependent because I derive pleasure from helping others. You guys get to see here and now, free classes and all these things that I do, how that has manifested. Would we call it an imbalance if we look at each of the individual chakras or how I grew up and how those expressed themselves initially? Sure. We could call those imbalances. But ultimately, those habits, those patterns, developed a personality, developed an ego, developed a self
Mom,
that I really value.
one thing real quick.
What's up?
May I go ask Brian if I can hang out with him or just...
Yes, I think you can sneak around the board that way without being seen on camera.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me just check my computer real quick.
Okay.
Let's see if I turned it on.
Okay. So, I want to be very, like I said, I want to be very mindful about the way we talk about our energy. Because we can say that a healthy root chakra is someone who feels safe in their body, feels grounded, feels powerful, and safe, not fearful, who doesn't experience an excess of fear, and that will be true. But when we look at the individual structure of all of these pieces as they interwork together, these are the things that make us unique. So I shy away from saying healthy versus unhealthy in and of itself. But we do want to look at imbalanced expressions. If I'm having an imbalanced expression, let's say, I like to use the sacral chakra or the solar plexus a lot for this one. In particular, road rage is a good example, right? Or people who are very quick to trigger to anger in a way that's detrimental to themselves, their life, their relationships, their job. When a pattern is otherwise disruptive to the flow or the balance of your life, I would say it's out of balance, right? It's an imbalance. But if that imbalance creates balance because of the way that it works with those chakras, then we don't have to worry so much about that piece, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so solar plexus, quick to anger, somebody who has to cuss people out when they're, slightly offended. An out of balance or an excessive, maybe, throat chakra, somebody who does not speak truth very often. Somebody who lives in a dishonest space, doesn't express their truth honestly, whether consciously or unconsciously. Be careful with these, because some of these can be unconscious patterns where I think I'm being honest, but I have ingrained these out of balances that are lower, and I'm not actually truly informing myself, because that also has to be connected here with the third eye. Because these things all work together. They all work together. None of them works separately. Thank you for the follow, friends, and the gifts and the love. I'm trying to think of the important things to add here, right? So I guess it's important to add that we have a front and a back for each chakra. Our root and our crown are the top and the bottom, or the top and the bottom, for our energy system, for our central energy channel. That's the Sushumna channel, and here we have the crown at the top, and the bottom is the root. Then we have our third eye here. The third eye is the only odd man out. There's a top and a bottom, straight channel right here. The throat, the heart, the solar plexus, and the sacral, the back of the chakra is directly behind it. So the back of my heart chakra is between my shoulder blades. Anybody have tension in their shoulder blades? That's the back of your heart chakra. That's the masculine or yang aspect expression of your heart chakra. Solar plexus, right behind it. Sacral, right behind it. That means your sacral chakra, low back issues, sacral chakra. That's the yang expression of your sacral chakra. How do we get yin or yang, feminine or lunar or solar expression, yin or yang expression of each chakra? By the way, the nadis. This is the minor energy channel. We have a minor energy channel called our Pingala, or the solar energy, the yang energy in our system, and the Ida, or the lunar or yin energy in our system, the rising energy and the resting energy. As these minor energy channels move around the chakras, they do so like pulleys. So if you're visual, let's imagine this system in our minds. Okay, take your right finger, point your right finger, and point your left finger. Bring them up to your third eye. Now visualize this with me. Take your right hand and move it slightly up, right? This is going to turn this chakra in this direction, which means your left hand goes a little down. So tell me, what direction is my third eye turning? If the pulleys go in this direction, that will turn my third eye to my left. The left, the Ida, is the yin. So if a chakra in the front turns to the left, it is a yin expression here in the front and a yang expression in the back. Since the pulleys crisscross in between the chakras, that means this one's going to go this way, yin. My throat, an outward expressive chakra, is going to go right, to my right, which makes it yang in front, yin in back. We continue down. Heart, yin in front, yang in back. Just like the planet, right? Water turns one direction here and turns the other direction here. You are the planet between the expressions of your chakra. Unpopular opinion, I need to be taking notes. Let me say again, if you want to keep track of these things, I am going to be putting out this information 3 times a week all year long. Wednesdays, 2 to 4 p.m. is our classroom where we talk about this kind of stuff specifically. The other 2 days are practices. So let me say again, go to patreon.com/move a change, link in bio. I have something called the Inner Light Map in my shop. It's just $5. It's 4 pages that you download. It's a PDF. Print it off as many times as you want to, or fill it out online as many times as you want to. What's in there are 2 daily energy check-ins. One is a written one and checkbox one, so you can keep track of details, and the other one is a drawing one that has the body at all 4 angles, so you can draw what your energy feels like, how open or closed your chakras feel, front and back, right? Shoulders and otherwise. Then it has 2 pages, one to keep track of practices, the actual tools that are offered, and 2 to chart the times that you practice them. On the practice ones, when you practice them, you write down what you practiced, how long you practiced, and what your experience was. The goal here is, instead of making a run-of-the-mill book for everybody, because you can go and buy a book about the chakras. You can go Google all this information that I'm sharing with you, right? But all of that is going to be made one size fits all for everybody. My radical movement, my revolution here is for you to build your own book, you to chart your own energy body. So at the end of 2025, you're going to have a whole notebook of all of these tools, ones that you know work for you in certain situations or at certain times of day or certain times of year, because you are as unique as the snowflakes that fall, right? So let's stop with the one size fits all thing, because there's plenty of it out there. Go to patreon.com/move a change. Sorry, my thing is backwards. And go get that PDF download. Again, $5 in the shop. Okay. And then keep track of all these things. Just FYI, replays are on YouTube at Move with Change. I Move with Change everywhere. Move with Change on YouTube has the replays for all of 2025 up for now. I think at the end of March, I'm going to go ahead and close those off, because I do have a membership for replays. So if you were missing the other classes and you're like, oh shit, I want to go back and I want to get all the stuff, go do that now or in the next couple of weeks, because April 1st, when we move up to the root chakra, I'm going to go ahead and close those down, because we have a membership for all the replays of classes. Navarre, you've been working on your chakras for a while now, and this is a game changer. Same. I've been working with the energy body, chakras, and coaching on these things for a long time. And what I find is really the question is not what are these things or how do they work? It's how does mine work, right? And I could charge everybody for coaching. We could all do this one-on-one, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to coach everybody. So instead, let's do this together, right? Okay. Let me see if I missed a question here. Hey, Byron, I love you. How are you? And Seattle Dad, what does it mean when I can see my torso glow with blindfold on? Is that light body? So again, our energy body gives off an actual light. Your aura gives off an actual light. That light comes from the chakras. These give off actual light that you can perceive. How far down that rabbit hole do I want to go? In the West, we believe that what we see with our eyes is matter of fact. And we believe if we cannot perceive it with everybody cannot perceive it with their eyes, then it must not be true. And yet, your physical eye only actually perceives pinpoint of focused vision. Just a pinpoint. As you look around the room, each thing that you focus on, you see that pinpoint. And you will see that around that pinpoint, it's all blurry. All of that that's blurry, as crazy as this sounds, but it's verifiable through science, yay science, that your mind is filling those things in. And I don't mean that your mind is making shit up, right? Because as you look around this room, you wake up and open your eyes to your bedroom every day, and it's pretty much the same thing. You're like, wait, is my brain making this up? No. Based on your actual perception, and from this little tiny pee hole, we're looking around all the place, and we are taking in that information. And our mind is mapping out our spaces, our world, our perceptions, right? But it is based, what we are perceiving, what we are seeing is so heavily based on our beliefs, our biases, and what we think we can or cannot see. Hey, thank you, Courtney. I was gifted my family's lineage of energy work when I was young. And through that, I was also gifted the eyes to continue seeing. As a child, many of us see plenty more that we can perceive. But as we grow older, we are taught to put those things down. We are taught they're childish. We're taught they're not real. We're taught to be logical and reasonable and essentially close off our ability to perceive these things. I will give you one of my favorite practices. Unpopular opinion. And what if you can see things that are not present with the eye? There is a perception, right? Where did I want to go with that, right? The eyes are very limited in their perception. We also believe that our awareness or our perception is located right here, right? For most of us, we spend our entire lives operating from this is where I exist. But when you dive into meditation or mindfulness, you may be instructed to take your attention and put it on the end of your chin. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and perceive your perception where you normally perceive it. Now move your perception to the tip of your nose. See if you can, with your eyes closed, perceive the world or yourself or your energy from the tip of your nose. Can you at all? Do you notice a shift at all? All of your attention, all of your awareness on the tip of your nose. All of your attention, all of your awareness in your heart space. Take a deep breath in, keeping your eyes closed. Exhale completely. Drop your awareness into your belly button. Rest your awareness inside of your belly button. All of your attention, all of your awareness inside of your belly button. Not as if you're looking from your brain inside of your belly button, all scrunched over and bent over. No, your awareness, your eyes, your perception are in your belly button. Entirely inside of your belly button. Go ahead and, if you'd like to continue practicing, move your awareness elsewhere. Move it across the room from you. Move it over your head. Move it down into your feet. Your awareness is not stationary. It's not static. It is far more expansive, and you have the ability to move it around. But in the West, we think that's all there is right here. What I see, feel, and hear, and perceive from right here. The process of enlightenment is the process of discovering more and more subtle layers of reality. We start off with gross awareness. That means like gross motor skills. It's day or night. I'm awake or I'm asleep. I'm hungry or I'm not, right? We know about these lower chakra energies like that. As we get older, we recognize, well, there's day, and then there's evening, and then there's dusk, and then we get into like darker or like really dark before dawn, right? This is just the process of enlightenment. So as you start out, you have this, this is me. But as I grow, I realize, well, there's this variation and this variation and this variation and this different perception of me. Enlightenment is not super far away. Enlightenment is exactly what you just did. You enlightened your system, your awareness, that your consciousness is not stuck right here in your face, because it's not even in our head, right? It's our face. We're very front-centric in the West. So I encourage you to explore your ability to perceive these things. Hey, Joshua, how are you? I encourage you to explore it without the need to determine exactly what it is at first. Your question was, is that the light body? If you are perceiving light from your system, it's likely your light body. But it's more important to practice the perception itself than it is to determine exactly what that thing is here and there. Because that's the intersection of our belief and our experience. What I claim that is going to be limited by what I can believe that to be. So before you put it in a box right away, meet it with curiosity and willingness. Take that PDF download, the Inner Light Map in my shop, and when you notice it, just take notes about it. I perceive it like this. It's like this. It's like that. Describe it. But without the need to name it, without the need to determine exactly, right? Somebody mentioned transcendental meditation. I am also a TM practitioner. Although it's not my favorite, it's not my favorite type of meditation, but I really, really love what it does. And I think it's a really great, I would call it gateway meditation. It's a really great way for people who struggle with meditation to get into meditation, because it's very simplistic and it's repetitive, which makes it really easy to incorporate into whatever you're doing. Okay, so you guys are talking about visual snow and stuff like that. And that's what I was going to say. Here is the Seattle Dad. Thank you. Hard to find experiences or answers of what I've been experiencing. Come hang out in here. That is like primarily what we do in this space, is talk about those kinds of experiences that we don't have a lot of spaces to talk about. I also have a Discord space in case you want to join our little community over there. It's free to do so right now. And that link is on my patreon.com/move with change. Link in bio. Joshua, do I believe we meditate all the time? No, I don't believe we meditate all the time. Meditation is a particular practice. It's a structured practice. We are not even mindful all the time, right? Many times our awareness is split between the past and the present and other worries and fears and made up realities and dream spaces and energy patterns and emotional nonsense, right? Like we are often not even present. And to be meditating, much less to be mindful, we have to be present. That's the big key factor in meditation or even in mindfulness. And mindfulness teaches us, encourages us, gives us the tools to be more present so that we can improve upon our meditative practices. Red Mama Yeti, I felt wobbly and a little off balance, changing my perception to my nose. Yes. So you also have different chakras. We'll talk about those things too when we get later in the year. You also have different chakras in your face as well too. And that can be, again, just a sign of balance. Vada, what's the best type of meditation to have a grand spiritual experience? Mindfulness. Wash rice, carry water. That is the best meditative practice to have a grand spiritual experience. the simplest tools are the, in my opinion and in my experience, where I've received the most profound understandings. I just want something to happen. Okay. Seattle Dad, need to meditate more myself. Always see something, many locations, trees and trees, which is odd. Again, I encourage you to chart these things. If you are getting visuals or getting other energies or getting other things that are occurring to you, your experiences during meditation or during mindfulness, one of the important pieces is not to hold on to them during practice, because what do, you pull your awareness away, your attention away from your intention when you start to grab onto the things that are happening because you want to tell a story about them or attach to them or remember them. Let that go. When you are sitting in your meditative practices or your mindfulness practices, focus on aligning your intention and your attention, and that's all. Anything that rises and falls in terms of mindfulness or that we add onto it with meditation is icing on the cake, right? This is extras. These are treats. This is the focus. This is the core. My intention, which is to be mindful or breathe or be present or whatever my simple intention is, that is my North Star. I hang that out in front of me and say, this is what I intend to do. It's my guiding light. This is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. My attention is my compass. My compass keeps my ship, my vessel, my attention aligned with my intention. If I am in practice and I set my intention to sit in meditation for 5 minutes, I keep my attention on that practice. Let's say I use an anchor like the sound of my breath or the sound of my heartbeat or a mantra, right? Fine. These are my tools. These are my anchor. And I use that to keep my ship headed towards that intention. As soon as my brain goes, ooh, that was a really cool sensation. I wonder what that means. I wonder if it's attached to my childhood trauma and that thing that my stepdad did when I was, oops, where's my boat going? Let's steer back. Oop. During meditation. Oops. I wandered off. Refocus, sound of breath, here we are. The most powerful experiences that I have ever received have been by focusing on that simple fact. Everything else is just glitter and fluff. Okay, but I wanted to offer this piece about energy, about seeing energy. I want to offer this really quick before I get down. I see a whole bunch of messages, and then we are going to talk about the feet chakras, because this is the content for today, the actual foot chakras and what they correlate to. Okay, all this other stuff is review. The practice I love most, and the practice my mom gave me when I was a child to keep my ability to see energy, was to, in the dark, because this is a very low light that we give off, the darkest room you can possibly have. Yeah, pirates are making jokes. Okay. In this space, you can do it with your hand, or you can do it with the ceiling. If you're laying in bed, focus up on the ceiling. Focus your eyes as pointed as you can, as clearly as you can see in the ceiling. Focus, 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 focus. And then, just like you're looking at one of those, what are those eye trick puzzles, right? Where you gotta like cross your eyes to see what it is and pull it out that way to see what the picture is inside of the design, right? You guys know those? Do that. Focus, 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 either on your hand, your palm, or the ceiling or the wall. And then loosen your vision like you're trying to see something inside of that. As my mother explained to me as a child, that we are living in a soup. Everything that you're going to be seeing is in that in-between space, because that in-between space is very full. In the West, we're not taught to perceive that stuff, right? We're taught to focus only on physical matter. The most dense shit in the universe is what we're supposed to focus on, what we're taught to focus on. The reality is there's much less dense material in between you and the ceiling or the wall in your hand. If you want to start to perceive energy, start to practice this in the dark or in very low light. And at first, you may simply just see light. You may not see colors. Sometimes you'll see colors. Sometimes they'll come and go. But if you are starting to see a kind of aura or light around your hand, or that staticky movement of energy in the in-between space, you are working on your perception. You are opening your awareness to the perception of the lower frequency lights here that our body emits. Okay, now let me catch up. Seattle Dad, how about your induced OBE using the rollout technique. I don't even know what that, I'm not even sure I know what that is. You're very welcome, Alicia. This is one of the one of the most important. Hey, Cheese, you're at. This is one of the most important things I talk about with mindfulness, right? The core, the foundation of the things that we work on this space are what I call the 4 pillars of mindfulness. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to have yoga pants. You don't have to have a yoga mat or a special place, and the world isn't going to quiet down. Nothing. You need nothing else except for these 4 things, and they are available to all of us if we cultivate them, right? Our intention, our attention, curiosity, and willingness. You've already heard me say these things. Ashley, been in this life for maybe 2 minutes and you're impressed? Awesome. Well, thank you for having to stay here, hang out. Go to my Patreon page and support the work that I do. I offer free classes right now, but it's, yeah. For those of you who love the content, for those of you who can afford $5 a month to support the fact that I do this work, right now I'm about to have to close down my free classes because I can't afford to pay my bills on no memberships. So I do have a couple of folks who have been supporting me for quite some time, and I am deeply appreciative. It's not to negate that. It's to recognize the reality that I have to kind of create some kind of exchange. And you guys know that I love giving things away for free, because if you ran into me in the store, I would tell you all this shit anyway. If you were a friend of mine and you were like, my energy feels weird, I would spend hours on the phone with you trying to help you sort it out. Like, that's just who I am. Talk about those early imbalances and how they manifested, right? And it's my skill. It's my, I don't know, a great thing I love to do. However, I'm also learning to balance the other chakras out in a way where I can set better boundaries and receive more abundance in my life rather than, yeah. So for those of you, again, who like what I do, I have a membership of $5 a month. We have almost 12,000 followers here on TikTok. If a small fraction of y'all could go over to Patreon and pay $5 a month for just the fact that I do this because you love what I do, I would have no worries at all. That's a fraction of you guys. So I'm hoping to kind of push that message out throughout the next couple of weeks, and I'm really hoping that come April I won't have to put a just standard lock on the gate. Dollar lock on the gate. You guys know that that's not like what I like to do. Dollar is not king in here, but there has to be some kind of exchange. So with that said, thank you to all of you who have supported me, who continue to support me. The big place to support me is patreon.com/movewithchange. Okay, that's it. Let's move back to the cool stuff. Okay. Thank you, friend. Okay. How do I decalcify my pineal gland? That kind of vision requires a decalcification of the pineal gland. Okay, so let's talk about this. We were talking about the chakras and the angle of the chakras, right? Each of these chakras has a front and a back directly behind it. The top and the bottom of my chakra system have a front and a back this way. My third eye is different because the brow chakra has a front right here, and the back of the brow chakra is at the pineal gland. So if you want to work on your pineal gland, if you want to work on vision, if you want to work on decalcifying your pineal gland, any chakra practices associated with the brow chakra, with the third eye chakra, are going to assist in that process. One of the biggest things you can do to decalcify your pineal gland is drink water. Good water, not the water with a bunch of other stuff in it. Like, you know, I don't want to get into too deep stuff. Lots of water. Reducing the toxins that you put into your system. And practicing third eye practices. Reducing screen time can be a huge help to keeping this clear, because this black mirror thing, this fucks with our ability to perceive the higher and lower states of self. So, hey friend. I want visions. Okay. All right. Let me give you a quick practice here for the third eye, since we're talking about the third eye. Thomas, how are you today? Remember, everybody, this is a CAYA space. CAYA stands for come as you are, because authenticity is ultimately the purest expression of your energy, right? And We also are cultivating a safe space for everybody to explore this information, to talk about these things, and share their experiences. So, if we have folks who are not able to be personally responsible for their expressions or their judgments or those kinds of things, you will be muted, just as an FYI. This is a place where we expect a level of personal responsibility that we are not going to create disruption in this space, right? Okay, cool. Thank you. Um, so the practice for the third eye. Let me say this really quickly, and I'm going to shake my finger at any of you who break this rule. I'm trusting you, right? All right, kids. Adults, I mean. All right. This is a third eye practice. When you do this practice, you do not do it for more than 2 minutes. That's it. Put a timer on if you need to. Watch the clock if you need to. Let me tell you, you will not get any more benefit by pushing your edges when you do this practice, right? Out here in my physical world, I can push my muscle, I can push my body to build muscle, and that's how I build strength, right? That's a very material way of interacting with the world. Hammer and nail kind of stuff. When you work on the internal self, the spiritual, the energy self, you really need to approach it with a much more, it's ethereal. It's like spider webs, right? This is something that's far more delicate than the more dense matter. So when you're doing things with your physical body, you want to push yourself a little bit further, run a little bit farther, lift a little bit heavier, fine. When you are doing third eye practices or energy practices, please, 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 please do not push past your boundaries. It will not benefit you. Why? Because your personal defenses, your ego system, your boundaries will even defend themselves, yourself against you if it has to. And if you come in looking for the gentle, fragile parts of self swinging and screaming, I promise you they're not going to come out and be like, yeah, I'm ready to be vulnerable for you. No. The way to build trust is to show up with gentleness, with curiosity, right? With curiosity and willingness. My intention is my guiding light. My attention is my compass that keeps me focused on my intention. And I meet everything that comes up with curiosity and willingness. Otherwise, I create a battle, I create a struggle, or I veer myself off my path. Okay. So, do we agree? 2 minutes max. 2 minutes max. And I'll give you this practice. Spiritual psychosis is real. You can hurt yourself. Please. Okay. I've got a couple of confirmations, a couple of readies. All right, here we go. Left hand. Point your index finger of your left hand. Take your right hand and wrap it around your index finger all the way. Wrap your fingers all the way around. Keep your right thumb up. Now curl that right thumb down in such a way that the tip of your thumb, as best you can, touches the bottom outside corner of your pointer. So that's the bottom outside corner. My right hand is going to wrap around that left finger, and I'm going to bring my thumb to put pressure. This is intentional pressure. Don't bust the skin or anything. Don't hurt yourself. But you are creating an intentional pressure on the bottom outside corner of the index finger. You can either hold it here in front of you, or you can place it up here directly at the third eye. No more than 2 minutes. If you can't respect the 2-minute boundary, or you find it difficult to hold for only 2 minutes and you want more, don't do that practice. I have another one for you. Another practice you can do that you can do as long as you want to is called Tritaka meditation. And this one also is extremely helpful to opening the third eye. And that includes decalcifying the pineal gland, that's opening and strengthening this channel, that's balancing the yin and yang aspect of this chakra. Can you start now, G-Man? Sure. If you've got a timer, go ahead and do 2 minutes with this one. No more than 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. If you want a different practice that you can do for however long you feel like doing, you choose Tritaka meditation. With Tritaka meditation, it's a staring meditation. So you pick a point. I really like a candle flame, but you don't have to pick something like that. It does kind of leave spots in the eyes. You can choose a stone, you can choose a flower, you can choose whatever it is, but I guess it should be relatively stationary, right? Don't choose a cloud that's going to be passing in the sky. Choose a point to stare at. It can be a freaking knot in the wood on your wall, right? Keeping your eyes open, stare at that particular point as long as you possibly can. This is how we start to experience psychedelic sort of visuals and stuff like that without the help of medicines and things like that. Tritaka meditation is one of a very powerful way to also open the third eye. Seattle Dad, oh, I did the candle. That was interesting. Tritaka, Trataka, Taka, Taka. Alicia, can you blink? No. The idea is not to blink. If you do, okay, remember that you are your own guru, and pushing too hard, too fast is not beneficial to our energy body or to these delicate, vulnerable parts of self that we're trying to reconnect to. So if you are doing Tritaka meditation and your eyes start feeling really uncomfortable and you want to blink and you want to blink, take a break. And that was cool. You did it for 30 seconds. Great. Next time, see if you can go for 32 seconds. And then after that, see how far you can go. In this space, we invite the shifts, we invite balance, we invite growth, we invite the insights and the knowing and the other things, we invite them in. We don't go chasing them down, right? We understand in Buddhist philosophy, right? The idea of chasing something by itself, the idea of desiring something actually pushes it further away from us, because what we're saying is that I don't have it. So if I'm chasing something or if I'm seeking something, I am saying to the universe, it's not here. It's not available to me right now. I have to go get it. So how do we invite peace, mindfulness, enlightenment, balance? We meet everything that comes up with curiosity and willingness, because curiosity and willingness are like this. Shame, blame, guilt are like this. Let me give you the really easy way to determine whether it's a accepting energy or a defensive energy. You can feel it in your body. Just like anxiety makes your body go, ee! Anger makes your body go, ee! Right? Sadness makes your body go, ee! Joy, peace, right? Love. These experiences are expansive, and you've felt them in your physical body before. I want you to take a second and remind yourself and confirm that. I do know what that feels like. I do know the difference between an expansive energy and a contractive energy, because I can feel them in my body, because I have experienced them with my energy, with my emotions. We do this to retrain the brain, to reinform the brain of things that we've been taught to ignore and confuse. Let's see, my friend, you asked how to stop fear and panic. Fear is in the root chakra, almost entirely in the root chakra, and then will manifest into other ones, but it's rooted in our root chakra. And so balancing the root chakra, working on reconnecting with the body, reconnecting with the earth, creating an internal sense of stability through mindfulness techniques. Oftentimes we experience fear and panic because we are pulled between our future and past self, because we're pulled around by the patterns of our energy body and of our cognitive body, right? We're pulled around by these things that have been programmed or are habitual for us. And so we feel kind of not in control. That can create a sense of fear and panic and anxiety and depression and, So work on the root chakra, work on grounding techniques, work with your lower chakras, right? Breath work. One of my favorite ways to get back in the body. Go right on bed. Can one substitute discipline for willingness? Of course you can. You can do anything you'd like to, especially with these practices. Is it recommended? Is it a good idea? That's based on you. and what you need. For me, it was actually a really powerful thing to let go of, to replace discipline with willingness, because I was overly disciplining myself. I was overly judgmental. I was disciplined because I was trying to control the situation and my experience rather than being willing to experience what came up. I was too afraid to experience life as it was naturally happening and needed more control. That was out of fear. So I heavily disciplined myself. Paint Plush, and anybody else asking about specific chakras, we are moving through all of the chakras throughout the year of throughout this entire year. We start next month in the root chakra, and then May we will go in the sacral. June will be in the solar plexus. July will be in the heart chakra. August, what fucking month in it? August will be in the throat chakra. September will be in the brow chakra. October will be in the crown chakra. November, we will talk about our upper minor chakras and the solar chakras. And then in December, I have a surprise for those of you who have hung out for this entire year. This month, we are working on the lower minor chakras and the feet chakras. So without further ado, we have gone a whole hour and some with questions about the chakras and with the whole structure of the energy body. So awesome. Awesome. Hey, Leash, how are you? Awesome, Seattle Dad. See you there. Angelina, how do you know if your chakras are open or closed? All of us have chakras moving. None of your chakras are ever completely closed. I have never met a person who had a completely closed chakra. Could we have a chakra that is not receiving energy or expressing energy in our front? Yes. And that may be experienced like a closed chakra or like a limited energy, and we can't like disconnected from our heart, let's say, right? Or you might experience somebody as cold-hearted or heartless, right? Those kinds of people may have very little energy expressing here in the front. But that means that it's all happening at the back of the chakra. And when we talk about our shadow self, right? That's back here. What happens when you stand in the light? You cast a shadow. My shadow self, my inner demons, my yeah, inner demons describes it. These imbalances, these things I don't want to look at, the things I'm afraid to talk about or to pay attention to, my closet, skeletons in the closet, all of that is my back chakra stuff. And again, here in the West, we will focus on the front chakras and the front of our awareness and the front of our body, but we often do not even acknowledge, much less take care of, or some of us can't even reach our fucking back, right? How are we supposed to deal with the chakras? So balancing your whole energy system is really, really important. And it's less about finding exactly which chakra is out of balance and how, right? Or why, as it is to take care of your entire chakra system. So I'm going to be offering a couple practices to work with grounding the energy and working and balancing the rest of the chakras as well. But let's get into the feet. Hey, Jemmy, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody who's new. We have a little less than an hour. I will be going till 4 o'clock. We're going to talk about the feet chakras here. We just went over the whole energy body. Replays are on YouTube at Move with Change on YouTube. If you are new and if you'd like to grab a membership or support the work that I do, please go to my link in bio. That's patreon.com/Move with Change. I am at the point right now, I've been offering free classes for 2.5 years now. And I need to create a kind of exchange to be able to keep doing these. Thank you, friend. I love the ones that show up on my face. So if you love this stuff, if you're already in love and you just got here, or if you want to go check out the replays and things like that, go check it out. Ask questions. Information is the most important thing in here. Why? Because those who control the information control the narrative. And those who write the narrative control the paradigm. And I personally am really tired of living in a paradigm that has nothing to do with my personal wellness or your personal wellness and has more to do with fitting us all inside the same fucking box. I'm not interested. So if you are interested in, the reality is, turning yourself right side out, because most of us have turned ourselves inside out to fit in this little cookie cutter world. if you are interested in actually discovering and uncovering and aligning your entire system. Stay tuned. Go support me on Patreon so that I can keep doing these classes. Come join us in the Discord so that you can keep talking about this stuff even when I'm not live. I do have a schedule. Thank you for asking. My schedule is always pinned at the top of my content. I am currently live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on both TikTok and YouTube. I do have then 5 to 6 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday other classes and group. I have group coaching on Mondays, a CAYA yoga class, which is a Kundalini class, this evening from 5 to 6. And then Friday nights we do a watch party in Discord. All those happen in Discord. And for the Monday group coaching and today's evening class, you have to have a level of membership. For the today's evening class, it happens in Discord and you have to have any level of membership. Doesn't matter which one, any level of membership, and the class is open to you. Did you hear that, Vada? I finally did a yoga class. Kundalini tonight. I see you, Sam. It's a Kundalini class, mostly focused on Kundalini. We do a little bit of asana, we do a little bit of stretching and things like that. But it is in Discord only. And it is for folks who have any level of membership. It's a way to reward the people who are paying me, no matter what you're paying me, so that I can keep doing this work. Thank you, Ree. I am Move with Change on YouTube and Patreon. Okay, let's talk about the feet now. Let's talk about the feet chakras. I even wore my toe socks so we could talk about the feet chakras. They might have a little bit of cat and dog hair on them, but... All right, so most of us have heard of reflexology, right? We know that in the feet, we can access all different layers of the body because in Eastern medicine, we know that we have channels. You asked time zone. I'm in Pacific time zone. Thank you for clarifying, to help me clarify. 2 to 4 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday in Pacific time zone, and 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time zone in our Discord. I'm the only person you tried Kundalini with? Oh, thanks, babe. Come on. Okay. So we know that we have channels, right, that connect all the parts of our body into our feet. So we know that we can look, you can go Google this, you can go find all the different parts that are associated with the different areas of your feet and the different areas of your body. This is pretty easy to remember, at least the movement of the chakras. Thank you, I love toe socks too. If anybody wants to send me toe socks, I am always accepting new toe socks. So our root chakra is located around the heel area. Here in the heel, okay, that's it. I'm doing the entire live, like the rest of the live, like this. I'll bring the foot up and we'll do this. Okay, here's my example. Our root chakra is here in the heel. Big bang. What did you say? How do I get rid of anger? Sore heel. I do daily yoga and ice it. So I'm glad we're talking about it. This is where your digestion is, your small intestine, your large intestine, your kidney, bladder, all this stuff, your sciatic, and I believe lumbar is a little higher up here. This whole area, your heel, this is all your root chakra. So if your heel is consistently sore, look to your root chakra, wear or eat red, color your fucking space with red. You can bring pictures in that are red, change to red sheets. I know these things sound benign, but remember, these are energy centers, right? They resonate, they vibrate at a particular frequency that matches your root chakra. So find reds that feel really nourishing. Find reds that you're like, ooh, that color. Wear those. Eat those, drink those, gaze at those, use the Tritaka meditation. You work for Coke and drive a red car, maybe you have a little too much red. So the other piece too, right, the out of balance feeling can come from a deficiency in the chakra and not having enough, or an excess in the chakra. So my question then to you, since we're on you right now, my question is to you, is there another color that you just can't stand? Your heel is sore. Is there a different color you just can't stand? What'd you say at the Matrix? The circles in the middle of the picture buzz and tingle for me. Are you talking about this picture up here? Yellow. Ooh. Okay, I love that you said at the same time it's from wearing boots at work and yellow, because yellow is your solar plexus. Yellow is your ability to be industrious. Yellow is our center for setting healthy boundaries and being able to control our life situations or control our behaviors or control what others do or control external situations. It's our ability to go and affect the world and be effective in the world or feel inferior in our effectiveness. Are you happy at work? Oh, the picture you said matrix, you're saying if in the feet. Okay. We're going to talk about them. Hold on. Brandon, you don't like yellow much, but you're happy at work. That's okay. You can be happy at work and still not like yellow. But in the different connections there, I was really curious. You are now. You just changed jobs last week. Awesome. Okay. So, for you in particular, I would suggest I would suggest incorporating more yellow. And find yellows that you find comforting or that you find pretty or that you find like any way appealing. And again, be choosy. Don't just pick any yellow. We can aggravate or throw our things out of imbalance by choosing things that don't align with us. I'm not telling you to go choose a color that makes you feel gross. Please don't do that. Go find the variation of yellow that makes you feel good, even if it's a yellow stone, right? Of course, I'm blanking on every single yellow stone all of a sudden because citrine is down here. It's orange or yellow citrine. Go to the crystal shop and get a yellow stone and put it in your pocket and carry it in your pocket and see if it offers some relief. Okay. Topaz, sulfur, ooh, saffron. There you guys go. Okay. So let's talk about the rest of the feet here. I hear everybody adding or mentioning their things, their situations. Okay, Vada, I'm also a 70s yellow kind of gal. Okay, so let's talk briefly about where the chakras are in the feet, and we can talk more about individual situations. Okay, because I want to get through these before we get to 4 o'clock. So your root is here in the heel. The sacral is a little bit here on like the back side of the bridge and actually wraps around to below the ankle. The pressure point here for below the ankle, this is your reproductive organs here around the ankle. If you're cramping, ladies, if you're cramping, pressure point right here below the ankle. Okay, this is the sacral chakra. It wraps from the back side where the heel moves into the bridge and then under the ankle. That's the sacral chakra. The solar plexus chakra is the rest of the bridge and this soft spot all the way up to the ball of the foot. This whole area under here is the solar plexus chakra. So the root here, you're going to get your bladder, your digestion, your small and large intestine, your sciatic area. Sacral, you're going to have your reproductive area, your liver and adrenals are going to be in here. Solar plexus, the digestive system takes up this whole area here. So you're also getting a little bit of the digestive here, as well as the liver and the pancreas are going to be up here with the solar plexus. And then the throat chakra, or excuse me, the heart chakra is the ball of the foot. All of the ball of the foot. This is the heart. This is the lungs. Then we're going to move up to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is actually the legs of your toes. Do your toes have legs? What are you talking about, pirates? Okay, the legs of your toes, the knuckles of your toes. This is the throat chakra, and this manages the thyroid, the ears. It can be partially the eyes. The brow chakra is the pads of your toes. This is the brow chakra, the third eye chakra, and this is going to affect your vision, as well as your intuition, as well as your dreams and things like that, your ability to hear and communicate with the higher self. And then we have the crown chakra is only at the tip of the big toe. The crown chakra is the tip of the big toe. What do we know about the tip of the big toe? We have one of the largest clusters of nerve endings at the end of the big toe. The whole fucking body, the nervous system, coalesces at the tip of that big toe. And up here too. Cool, huh? Cool. All right, one more time. Root chakra is the heel. Sacral chakra is the base of the bridge here, the lower part of the bridge, as well as around to the side of the foot and below the ankle. The solar plexus is the rest of the bridge, this rest of the soft spot here. The heart is the ball of the foot. The throat are the legs of your toes, because now your toes have legs, and now you know. The throat are the legs of your toes. Your third eye are the pads of your toes. And the crown chakra is right here at the tip of your big toe. The stomach. The stomach is right here in your solar plexus chakra. So your digestive system is down here in reflexology, right? And up here you have the stomach is further up in the foot. The kidney, I think, is right about here, right? I don't have my reflexology socks on. I need some reflexology socks so we can talk about all the things underneath. Paint Plush, there are more than 7 chakras. In fact, we have 114 chakras. And some will tell you even more minor chakras. But we have 114 chakra system is actually 114 chakras. And that's part of why we're going through the whole energy body this year. In January, we talked about the aura. In February, we talked about the inner elements and the koshas and the channels of energy. We talked about why mudras are important because the channels of energy that come through our fingertips, right? And now, this month, we're talking about the minor chakras that are located in the navel, that are located, we call them the vritti chakras, the Sanskrit term for them because I can't use these certain terms here on TikTok. And then we have our knee chakras, the jhana marma chakras, and the center knee chakra here. And then we have feet chakras, chakras in the feet that correlate to reflexology. As we continue going through the year, we are going to move, so next week, we're going to talk about the earth chakra itself. And the week after that, we're going to talk about the chakras on the planet itself. So we're going to talk about a lot of these minor ones. Once we get through March, that's what month it is, April, we will move into the root chakra. And then May into the sacral, solar, heart, throat, brow. We'll spend an entire month offering any and all of the tools that I have and practices and information and answer all the questions about the specific chakras. During that time. And then at the end of the year, we're going to get up into the minor chakras up here, the shoulders, the armpits, the nose, the chin, the other ones around us, as well as the soul star, the one above our head. And then in December, I have a secret. I have a surprise for everybody. So you got to hang out. Okay. And if you want to get hey. If you want to get the most out of this year, hold on. It's all right. Go ahead. Go yell at them out there. There's nobody out there, though. There's nobody out there. All right. If you want to get the most out of this year, go to my link in bio, patreon.com/move with change, and go to the shop. There is an inner light map. The Inner Light Map is a $5 download. Instead of making a huge expensive journal that gave you all this information, gave everybody the same information, I wanted to make it accessible and I wanted to make it reusable. So it's a $5 download. It gives you 4 PDF pages. 2 of those pages are for daily check-ins around your energy body, around your energy patterns, around your emotional patterns, and the other 2 are one's a visual one, and one's a writing it down in checkboxes one, and then the other 2 are practice assessments. One for writing down the practice itself and describing it so you can keep track of what it is and how to do it, and the other one is keeping track of how you experience the practice itself. So by the end of 2025, instead of me producing a run-of-the-mill journal or book for everybody, which you can already go buy and you can already go Google and you can already go create, you will have your map of your energy body, your inner light map, the one that uniquely suits you, because you are as unique as your fingerprints, right? Your energy centers. Come on, then. Your energy body is as unique as your fingerprints, as unique as the shape of your iris. Yeah. Curtis. So my live replays are currently on YouTube at Move with Change. Right now, all of 2025, all the classes that I've done so far are open and free so that you guys can catch up. Because we kind of announced it at the beginning. I'm not good at announcing things ahead of time, so I have to give people time to catch up. But starting in April, I'm going to close those down and put them into a membership. I have a membership on Patreon right now. It's $11 a month, and you get access to all the last, 2 years of my classes. And that's a ton of tools. That's a ton of practices. That is a ton of information for $11 a month. And you can explore those as long as you'd like to. Yeah. So for now, go check out the replays for 2025 because they are there and they are open and they are free. If you love what I do and want to make sure that you keep access to the replays, go grab that $11 membership on Patreon. Please and thank you. And for those of you who have been around for a while and haven't grabbed a membership, I encourage you to do so. You guys know that it's what keeps the lights on. It's what keeps the internet on. Yeah, absolutely, Curtis. I want to be honest, right, with my energy, authentic with how I show up. And authentically, if we were in public together somewhere, I'd be sharing this information with you. I love to talk about this stuff because it's a gift that I was given when I was young. And a gift that I have continued to expand upon and explore and fill out in a way that when you know your magic, when you know the magic, it feels like magic, right? This is really powerful magic. And this is the key to your self-actualization. I have a personal vendetta. I really hate the idea that we are being controlled by a few amount of people or by a narrative that doesn't actually take care of us or encourage us to reach self-actualization. In fact, I see that we've been turned directly away from our self-actualization and the information that helps us get to the self-actualized self that isn't a puppet to the machine. That information is usually hidden away behind closed doors for very expensive prices, or only if you have a certain skin color, or only if you're born in a certain place, or only if you have a certain religion. The reality is, this is the key to who you're really meant to be, to your purpose here in this life. And it's quite accessible. Don't believe anybody else who tells you that this isn't accessible. I'm here to tell you that it is accessible and to give you as much as I can for free. Okay, thank you guys for all the follows and all the love. So, foot chakras, practices. Let me offer you guys, we're 3:34. So we close this session at 4 o'clock. Remember, for those of you who have a membership, we do have our class in Discord for the Kundalini Yoga class later. So for now, a couple of things that I wanted to offer. We worked on a couple of different practices. Some people have asked questions about particular chakras and things like that. I want to offer you guys the mudra for this week. Every week I offer a new mudra. Every week I offer a variety of content to help support the topic that we're talking about. Thank you, friend. Our mudra for this week is called the Prithvi mudra. Prithhivi. That's the Sanskrit term for earth. This is the earth gesture. It's a pretty simple mudra. Remember that we meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness, not with shame, blame, guilt, not by forcing ourselves or pushing our boundaries. So if this mudra is inaccessible to you right now or not quite so easy, don't force yourself. Don't pop your fingers trying to get into it. Invite the mudra. I know that there are people who cannot connect, right, their fingers across their hands, so do your best to get as close as you can. So this Prithvi mudra, you drop your ring finger down towards the palm and bring your thumb to touch. Keep the other two fingers extended. This is it. The Prithvi mudra. If this feels weird, difficult, if your fingers start to shake, try resting it palm up in your lap. We hold our mudras with intention, not tension. What does that mean? Take your mudra here, your Prithvi mudra, and squeeze your fingers together. And then try to keep your fingers extended. I want you to really squeeze, create tension. Tension. Can you hold that very long? No. I can feel that up in my neck, right? Thank you, friend. That's tension. You're not going to be able to sit with that practice for very, very long if you create tension. Tension creates pain, pain creates suffering. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. So instead, create an intentional connection. Because if I'm not intentional, then I might just end up with like a little floppy thing here, and my energy is not going to flow as freely as it could. Bray, hey, welcome. Jesus heals your spirit indefinitely, and all you have to do is choose him. You know what's beautiful, actually? As we're talking about mudras, I love that you came in and mentioned it, because Christ actually used mudras. Christ consciousness, which is the energy that Yeshua was able to manifest and experience in this lifetime, was what he was teaching us. He was teaching us about the energy body. He was teaching us about the chakra system. He was teaching us about the divinity that exists within us, because we all resonate from that source. So I encourage you to hang out in here. And for those of you who are just joining, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. So for those of you who are worried, don't worry. Christ is here. God is here. Source in whatever manifestations is always here. If you don't see God in all, then you don't see all of God. But it's up to us which angles we want to see it from. That's free will. That's your choice. Okay. Prithvi Mudra. Bring the ring finger to touch with intention. Hold this in a way that feels comfortable without it collapsing. So usually we want to hold our mudras for a minimum of 5 minutes, because it takes about 5 minutes for energy to circulate through our system. How is this working? This connects the energy channel of Earth. Remember, we talked last month about the elements in the element channels that run through our hands. The thumb is fire. The pointer is air. The middle is spirit or ether, the intangible, right? The ring is earth, and the pinky is water. So the earth mudra, we help energize the earth element in our system by connecting it to fire. The energizing of fire. One specific hand or both, either hands, one or the other, or both. So there's a couple ways that you can use this mudra. Luckily, this mudra is not static, in meaning that it doesn't have just one way to hold it. You can be watching Netflix and holding a mudra. You can be having a conversation and holding a mudra. You can be driving with one hand, maybe two, maybe not. You can be doing something, eating with one hand and using a mudra. This is why it's important to go get that inner light map, because you'll realize that certain mudras are not good to do while you're eating or after you've eaten, and some are much better done in the evening, and some are way better in the morning. So that's important. Nini, you can't hold it, it's painful. So in this space, again, you are your own guru. I can't be in your body. I'm only in mine. I only have my capacity for these things, right? So we invite the mudra. If this is painful, try holding it in different positions, at your chest, in your lap, right? Try holding one hand or the other one. If it still is painful, try disconnecting those two fingers. And instead of touching them together, just bring your ring finger in and reach your thumb toward it. If this feels okay, this is better than not at all. And this is better than this, causing yourself pain, right? This is not a no pain, no gain space. And I promise you that if you continue to work with these mudras, you will find more capacity to reach them, right? I know I've heard the feedback directly from people who are in here right now about how when they started doing mudras, it was really difficult, or they're ones that they couldn't get. And since doing mudras, I've been teaching mudras now for like 2 years. That's like the primary stuff that I've been teaching. Since doing them, since practicing different ones, we find the flexibility, we find the connections, right? Most of us are not used to doing these things. Most of us don't have the dexterity because we're just not used to using it. It's like learning sign language. When you first learn sign language, it can be sticky. It can make your hands cramp. But the more you practice, the easier it gets, the more flexibility, the more dexterity you get. This is how we enlighten our hands. This is how we enlighten our ligaments and our muscles and our body and our joints. We encourage the exploration of finer and finer layers, more detailed, deeper layers of ourselves, right? Gross motor skills is, can I open my hand and can I close my hand? Can I make a fist and can I swing it? Fine motor skills are, can I hold a pen? Can I use my pincher fingers? Can I move one finger at a time? Can I do the Spock hand position? Can I switch back and forth? These are things that we can practice. These are things that we can invite. These are things that we can cultivate, right? Okay. Sending secret messages. This is Morse code for Star Trek, for Trekkies. This is Morse code. Hey, Claybeard, how are you? Replays are on YouTube right now. YouTube at Move the Change. Sorry, that's backwards. Live long in prosperity. Okay, so let's see. That's the Prithvi Mudra. So once you find what's the comfortable way to hold this, whether you're holding it up here, holding it at your chest, resting it in your lap, the other thing that you can do, so you can hold this mudra like that and just let the mudra do its work. We hold our mudras with intention, so just an intentional connection, not a squeeze, and we don't let them drift apart where our attention is wandering off. My favorite way to use the Prithvi Mudra is actually for grounding. Big Bang, should you do this during meditation? There are no shoulds in this space. This is an opportunity for you to explore this mudra. So use it during meditation. Use it before you fall asleep. Use it when you wake up. Use it before or after you eat. Use it whenever the mood strikes you or whenever you have time to go ahead and integrate the practice and keep track of how you feel. Then that will inform you and your system as to when this is most beneficial to you. And that's why I encourage you to remember minimum 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is how long it takes for energy to circulate through your system. So you want to at least give it 5 minutes to get a genuine assessment of how it feels in your body. If you sit here for 1 minute with it and you're squeezing it at the same time and then you quit because your arm is hurting, you didn't really experience the mudra and you didn't really experience the practice. So we hold it with intention, meet everything that comes up with curiosity and willingness, and at the end of those 5 minutes, keep track of how we felt. How do we feel before, during, and after? And then try it a different time of day or try it at the same time multiple times. Okay, my favorite way to use this mudra is as a channel for grounding. So not only just holding this mudra is going to help with grounding, but there's another piece with this one. You place it directly on the ground. Thank you, friend. Or you point towards the ground. So if you are sitting on the ground, let's say you're sitting in meditation, right? I like this one for things like anxiety or busy thoughts, right? Sometimes we are trying to be quiet and our mind monkeys are like, oh, you want silence? Ha ha ha! And they become gremlins, right? Thank you, friend. So when that kind of stuff happens, we may need tools or a little assistance as to shift that energy. Take your Prithvi Mudra and place your first 2 fingers directly on the earth. Again, if you're sitting on the ground, that means putting both hands on the earth. If you're sitting in your chair, put it on the chair and send it down to the earth. If you're sitting like me and there's like very little chair around you, just hang it down by your side. But don't do so absentmindedly, because your intention and your attention are some of the most powerful skills that you have, powerful tools that you have. You can get rid of everything else and you can find enlightenment through your intention and your attention. So grab your Prithvi Mudra. Put that down to the ground. If you're sitting on your chair, ground your feet out too. Put the bottoms of your feet on the ground. Let all of these nerve endings and channels of energy ground into the earth. If you'd like to do a practice with me in our last couple of minutes, go ahead and close your eyes. Thanks, Trikind. Go ahead and close your eyes however you're sitting. whether with your feet on the ground or your legs folded, with your first two fingers of your Prithvi Mudra touching the ground or just reaching towards them. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling the breath through the nose, pulling it through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Big deep breath. And let that shit go. One more. Inhale this time, lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head to elongate the spine. As you exhale, gently tuck the chin to bring intention to your posture. Allow the shoulder blades to melt down the back. And let go of tension anywhere else in your system. Seal the lips and allow the breath to find a comfortable, steady rhythm. Remember, right here, all you need is your intention and your attention. As you shift your attention to align with your intention, my intention right now is to just follow the breath. Let the breath settle into a comfortable, steady rhythm. And that's where I'm focused. If my mind starts to talk about my breath, refocus on just listening to the breath. If my mind starts to complain that there's other more important shit to do, refocus on the breath. Barring an actual emergency, most of us can just refocus on the breath. Stay with the breath. On your next exhale, I invite you to bring the breath, send the breath all the way down through your arms and through your fingertips, and imagine the tips of the fingers opening up and roots growing out with the breath. Inhale again. The roots may slow down in their growth or even retract a little bit. Exhale again, keeping the mouth closed because you're exhaling through the fingertips, growing roots from your fingertips all the way down into the earth. Notice the sensation in the tips of your fingers. Notice the sensation of the breath as it exhales all the way down through the arms. Notice the energy as it starts to tingle in your palms or in the fingertip connections. Stay with the breath. No need to explain anything. No need to make a story about anything. No need to be worried about anything unless it's actually causing pain. Otherwise, stay with the practice. Inhaling, filling the lungs with fresh, clean oxygen. Exhaling, using that oxygen, using that breath to push through the arms and down through the hands, rooting us into the earth. Each exhale digs those roots deeper and deeper and deeper, these tiny little tendrils that are growing from your fingertips and down into the earth, climbing through layers of soil and rock, maybe pockets of water and compressed earth. Allow them to dig into the earth. You can continue this part of the practice as long as you'd like, staying with the breath, inhaling the breath, and exhaling the breath all the way down through the arms, through the fingertips, through the roots, and into the earth. When you feel sufficiently rooted, I invite you to use your next breath, inhaling, to gather up any shit you don't need anymore. Anything that feels stuck, any pain, any worry, any fear, any tension in the breath, any tension in the body, any tension in the mind, in the spirit, in the being. Inhale it, gather it all up, and as you exhale, send all of that down through the arms, out the fingertips, through the roots, and into the earth. With each breath, repeat. Inhaling, pulling the bits and pieces of outdated self, of debris from fear and anguish, of any attachment to suffering that we may be experiencing. Inhale all of it. And exhale it through the arms, down to the fingertips, into the roots and into the earth. And do not let, call somebody out now. Do not let fear or worry or shame tell you that you're hurting the earth by dumping this stuff, or that you're overwhelming the earth, right? Oh, this is too much for Gaia. She can't handle my pain, my suffering, my tension, my fear. It's too big. I don't want to make her feel it. Okay. The same way we exhale and the trees inhale, the same way the trees exhale and we inhale. We exchange energy with the earth. And some of that energy is compost. That benefits the soil. It nourishes the earth in ways that we are often ignorant to. With that knowing, with that understanding, with that invitation that the earth is inviting you to give up what serves her, what benefits her, what nourishes her, because it's toxic to you. It's not meant to stay in your system. Breathe that in, inhale all those little bits, and exhale them down through the arms, out through the fingertips, in through the roots, and down into the earth. I encourage you to stay with this practice as long as you would like. I encourage you to return to this practice as often as is available to you. When you feel complete, you may visualize the roots coming back in. You can leave your roots right where they are without doing anything about it. You can simply release the mudra if you'd like to, and bring your hands one over the other over your heart or in prayer. Offer gratitude for the practice. Offer gratitude for the prana that is always flowing through the path of least resistance to bring you to your highest good in every single moment. Offer yourself gratitude for taking the moment for self-care today. Thank you for joining me for this practice in this space. When you're ready to completely come out of your practice, I encourage you to rub your palms together and cup them over your eyes before fluttering your eyes open behind those palms. It helps ease the transition. Thank you guys for all the follows. You're very welcome. Thank you, babe. So the practice we were just doing is called the Prithvi Mudra, and it looks like this. You drop your ring finger down into your palm and connect your thumb to the tip of your ring finger. Keep your pointer, middle, and pinky extended. Remember, these are elements, right? These are the channels of elements. So we bring fire and earth. Namaste, sit. We bring fire and earth together to energize that channel of earth. We keep the water channel open, we keep that spirit channel open, and we keep that air channel open. Point that down toward the earth, or just rest it in your lap. You can even hold it at your heart if you really want to. Mudras are so fantastic because you can passively hold them. In fact, a lot of us are familiar with mudras nowadays because we see people on the black box, the Black Mirror TV screen and whatnot, holding them. You recognize this one? This is a mudra. The very people who are probably telling you that energy is nonsense and it's a bunch of woo-woo, whatever, woke, whatever, are using the very tools because they know how powerful they are. This is called the Uttara Bodhi Mudra. And this is for boosting the solar plexus, boosting our solar center. It boosts our ego. It boosts our physical presence. It boosts our sense of personal power and our sense of personal control over others, over the world, depending on how we use it. Mudras themselves are benign, right? How we use them is where the benefit or detriment. Just like the third eye mudra we talked about earlier, third eye practice I showed you earlier. 2 minutes, no more. No more than 2 minutes. Because if you use it more than 2 minutes, it can cause harm. So, in this space, thank you, friend, I invite you to explore a relationship with your inner guru. Why? Is it some like ego boosting, like, oh, I'm cool, I don't need a guru? No, no. Because we can always benefit from the insights, right, and guidance of others. Thank you, friend. But if you are sitting there with the wisest, coolest, most connected guru that there ever was, you could be sitting across Christ himself, the Buddha himself, right? And you can be all more than willing to participate. But when your guru says, close your eyes, close your eyes. And then your guru says, move all of your awareness inside of your belly button. Put all of your attention inside of your belly button. Your guru, the Buddha, cannot reach inside of you and make you do that. Let's say I want to get up earlier in the morning. I can set an alarm. I can convince my partner to kick me out of bed. I can get my friends to show up at 6 a.m. to like bang on my door, right? Like I can set up all these things outside of myself to help me get up earlier. But I need that inner locus of control, that inner guru that's going to actually take the steps. I think a lot of us can get caught with the external trappings, especially of spiritual growth and personal development, and feel like we've done the work because we have the information. I'm speaking from personal perspective. I too had this information, had these tools, studied these things, practiced these things, but not with my inner guru. I only practiced them as far as I could get away with. That's ego. And that was also fear of reconnecting to my body, of reconnecting to the parts of myself that were scared or vulnerable, or that I had deemed unworthy of my attention and my love. Cultivating your inner guru is akin to not just learning to love yourself, but learning to value yourself. Finding your inner guru is akin to having a crew of pirates within you, with no captain. I think many of us go through life for quite a while feeling like we have a whole bunch of pirates and nobody's in charge. Or we're not sure how to take charge. And oftentimes our emotions and our energy patterns take charge for us. The practices of mindfulness, of exploring the inner layers of self, the more and more subtle inner layers of self, is the practice of learning to become the first mate to your captain. Because my captain is wiser than this lifetime. My ego, my emotions, they were built in this lifetime, born and bred in this lifetime. My higher self, my captain, my inner guru, my guide, it knows how to navigate. It has the maps, and it's done this before. If I want access to that wisdom, I have to be willing to show up for it. Because what guru is going to chase you down and make you do your personal work? Do you see the most wise of us walking the earth and demanding that we do our work? No. And in the same way, your captain or your inner guru or your inner wiser self may just be sitting there waiting for the tantruming and the chaos and the shenanigans to all quiet the fuck down long enough for you to hear. Because the wisest of us are not going to yell over the din of our ignorance. It's a choice that we make. It's free will. Do I play a pirate in my life for my entire life? Being pushed and pulled by the storms of the ocean, blaming everybody else for my situation and attacking others just to make sure I get more? I could. I did. Many of us do. not here to convince anybody actually of doing anything. Because it's your choice. And that's your superpower. Every human shares a superpower, and that's the power of choice. Whether we, what degree of choice we can argue. But there's always a choice. And learning to see the maybe, learning to see the in-between spaces, is the process of enlightening ourselves, and is the process of discovering the choices we have when we used to say, I have no choice. I had no choice. I had to scream at them. I had to say something nasty. I had to send that mean text. I was justified. Oops. Did you? Or did ego decide, don't look at other options. Don't consider anything else. This is the best course of action. Again, ego is not my enemy. My emotions are not my enemy. These are my allies. And they always have been. Because from the moment I was born, they started figuring out how to protect me. They started teaching me how to get my needs met. And they started adjusting my energy patterns and my triggers so that I could respond quickly and wisely and quickly to my experiences in life. My energy patterns, my ego, my personality, these are all my allies. These are all my protectors. And they are doing their best to keep me safe at all times. That's what we mean when we say you're doing the best with what you have. That's the crossroads between your energy patterns and your conscious choice, between the unconscious and the conscious self. So, I hope you all will continue joining me for these Wednesday evening classes from 2 to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, Pacific time. I am live Monday for Yoga Nidra, 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time here on TikTok and YouTube. Wednesdays we do this, our CAYA classroom, and we talk about the informational piece, and I answer questions and offer tools about the different topics for each month. Friday, I do tiny yoga from 2 to 4 p.m. It's a simple chair yoga, 30-minute flow for everybody in every space. So if you like the work that I do, if you have received benefit from the free classes I offer, if you've used the tools, if you've shared the information with somebody else, right? I encourage you to go to patreon.com/movewithchange and choose a membership. I have a $5 a month one, and I have a $4,000 one, depending on the level of engagement you want to get into. But here's the reality. As much as I love giving things away for free, I do need people to help pay the bills. I do need to create some kind of exchange. So, on Wednesday evenings, that's tonight, I am offering another perk. This is a new perk, and it's for anybody on any level of membership. Doesn't matter what level of membership, you can come join this class. It's a hour-long Kundalini class with some asana flow woven in. It's primarily Kundalini. And if you're unfamiliar with Kundalini, Kundalini is the style of yoga that is very focused on the energy movement and chakras and aligning and balancing those things through the use of asanas, kriyas, mantras, mudras, pranayama, all of that kind of stuff. Kundalini yoga is where we really pull in a lot of those practices. So if you'd like to join me for that class, you'll have to join us in the Discord, and you'll have to grab some level of membership. Awesome, Leash. Thank you very much. So for you, link on the Patreon page. I think I have a link tree, but it doesn't seem to be working all the time. I don't know. Some people say it doesn't. I just kind of want to looky-loo. This is not a class for that. Kundalini energy and Kundalini classes are something that we have to do very much with intention, as all yoga should be. But this is a class where we really cultivate the intention in that space. So as long as you are showing up with camera on and a willingness to participate, you don't have to be able to hit each pose perfectly. Feel free to ask questions. This class is about an exchange so that you guys are not just on the other end of a screen and I'm looking at myself, right? A little bit more. Leash, the link will go directly to Discord itself. And once you're there, you will get an automatic roll once you sign up through Patreon, it'll give you an automatic role in Discord, and you'll be able to see the channel. If you have any issue with it at all, comment in the first place that you can. You're like, help! I can help make sure that that happens, or send me a message and be like, I tried, but I don't know. Discord is kind of a funny space, and it has a learning curve, so I don't mind answering questions at any point. Mrs. Confident, you missed the whole live. Well, again, replays over on YouTube at Move a Change. Remember, for the rest of March, I am still leaving January and February and March's classes open, but once we start April 1st, I am going to close all the replays off. So we'll still have live classes, but if you want the replays, there are memberships for that on Patreon. Again, just these little ways I'm trying to figure out how to generate a little bit of revenue and get some energy flowing back in, right? Because we want the exchange of energy, just like in our chakras. Vada, I'm so glad you made it too, hun. Okay, next week we're going to talk about the earth chakra itself. We're going to talk about this chakra that's down below our feet, down in the crust of the earth, and what that means for us and how to balance that. And I will offer different tools for that. Keep an eye out for content. Keep an eye out for tools, nutrition tips, affirmations, herbs and stones, asanas, mudras, all that kind of stuff. I am posting that content as I am able to make it. Feel free to interact with the content. For some reason, even though we have 12,000 followers, TikTok doesn't know you guys like the content. TikTok keeps telling me nobody sees the content. So, if you guys like it, comment on it, interact with it. That way we can make TikTok pay for the content that is getting you out of the matrix. Wouldn't that be the kicker? TikTok was paying me to make content that got you out of the matrix. Hey. All right, friends. I love you so much. I'm going to go have myself a snack and get ready for class because I'm not doing class in this. I love you. Thank you all on YouTube for hanging out.